Hi, and welcome to Coal-Fed Families. I'm Randy Walters, and our guest for this broadcast is another special guest to us is Phil Moffett. And Phil Moffett is a candidate for governor of the state of Kentucky. He's a Republican, and he's a conservative. And we wanted you to meet Phil because he has some pretty strong views about coal and about other things, other issues in Kentucky. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Randy.
All right. I do want to talk, to start off with coal because we are for the coal fields. And your feeling about the Eastern Kentucky coal and what it means to Kentucky.
Well, the coal industry is the backbone of Kentucky's industrial base. And it's under constant siege now by the EPA, the federal government, and the state government. And we need to do everything we can to protect that industry.
All right. Now, we're going to do more than one broadcast with Phil, and we wanted to touch down on a lot of things in this first one so that you would understand what's going on and get a better feel for who he is. We're going to get more explicit into the coal business in another broadcast, but for this one, it's generally just to introduce you to Phil and what he believes in and what he stands for. And he comes to us with some pretty high credentials. To begin with, he was introduced to me by David Adams. And David is a person who ran the Rand Paul campaign up through the primary and was the man who produced a 90,000 vote victory for Rand Paul over Trey Grayson. And that happens because of the involvement of Tea Party people in Kentucky that made their presence felt and known to the United States in a very strong way. And what we understand is that you too are a backer of Rand Paul.
That's true. I am a backer of Rand Paul. I intend to vote for him in November. I've encouraged my friends and family to back Rand Paul, and we're looking forward to his big win.
All right. Your platform must be one that is consistent with that of Rand Paul.
Well, it's very similar, yes.
Right. Tell our viewers about your platform.
Well, our platform essentially consists of four corners. The first corner of the platform is state sovereignty. And as you guys are aware, the federal government, through regulation and law and unfunded mandates, has just been overrunning the states, especially in the last 2 years, but it's been happening for decades. And as governor, we're going to stand up and use the protections that are granted to us in the 9th and 10th Amendments of the U.S. Constitution to push the federal government back where they belong, and that's within the boundaries of the Constitution. And if any new regulation, any new mandate or law that comes down, we'll hold it up to the Constitution, and if it doesn't pass muster, we're going to fight it. The second corner of our platform is jobs and taxation. As you guys are aware, we have companies that are leaving California, New York, New Jersey, and Michigan, but they're not looking at Kentucky as their new home. And the reason they're not looking at Kentucky is that we have as bad a business environment as the states they're leaving. And we have over 240 different state taxes, fees, and surcharges. And we want to strip all those out and replace it with a single rate consumer sales tax on all goods and services. That'll make us the most competitive state in the region, if not the nation, not only for businesses to come to Kentucky, but also for businesses that are already here. The more profitable a company is, the more likely they are to hire more people, and we need new jobs here in Kentucky in a bad way. The third corner is education. We need to, I don't know if you guys are aware, but a third of the kids that enter our public school systems drop out before they graduate. And of those that graduate, 60% of them need remedial education before they get into one of our own state colleges and universities. And so if you strip away the failure and mediocrity, we're really educating 1 out of 4 of our kids in our public school systems. And that's at a cost of a little more than $12,000 a kid a year, which is amazing that we could do that poorly on that amount of money. And what I want to do is strip out the bureaucracy in public education and push it down to the district level to where we hold the superintendent accountable for what happens in their school systems and their schools. Now, we have to allow the superintendent to act like a business person. They have to be able to manage their budget and their personnel and their curriculum just like a business person would run their business, which means they need to be able to hire and fire people. Teachers and principals need control of the school. It's an absolute fact that if the only way a child learns is if they submit to their teacher. And in Kentucky, we don't require that. Students can be as disruptive as they want to be, as often as they want to be, and they know they're not going to get punished to any degree. And we need to give the school systems the right to kick those kids out. And the protection we need to give the families is public school choice. So that if your child is not doing well in a school for whatever reason, you should be able to take that child out of that public school and take it to any other public school, regardless of district boundaries. And we also need to allow public charter schools so that we can charter schools are usually set up for kids that have fallen behind or have behavioral problems and those types of things, and we need them in Kentucky so that they can be that safety net for the kids that are having trouble. And the last corner of the platform is smaller state government. I want to commission a base closing style commission like they did at the military bases, to where we look at every corner of state government and cut costs, get rid of unneeded or unnecessary programs, and outsource as much as possible to the private sector. And use the savings from that to pay down the debt that we have in this state. We have $7 billion worth of bonded indebtedness right now, and another $20 billion or so in underfunded employee pension plans. And we need to use the savings that we gain from that base closing commission style group to pay down that debt and make ourselves financially solvent again. So that, in brief, is what our platform is.
It seems to be that the mood of the nation, not just Kentucky, but the mood of the nation is leaning towards exactly what you're talking about in conservative values to get government has grown to the point, and there are even a lot of instances and examples of where government employees are making more than people in the private sector.
Which is the opposite of what it was when I was a kid. You know, it used to be you took a government job because you were willing to take less pay because you knew you had a little more stability. But now they have all the stability in the world and higher pay and better benefits. So that is totally inverted since I was a kid, and it needs to go back the other way.
Well, it's going to be a long, hard campaign, I would say.
Yes, it is.
And but the one thing that I think that is on the positive side of your campaign is the values that you've talked about here with us at Co-Fed Families. And I'm sure that all the people that are out there who view us that are working people will agree with you on downsizing government, and especially on states' rights and the sovereignty issue in Kentucky. Phil Moffett has been our guest here on Co-Fed Families, and as I said, we will be having more broadcasts. I want to thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Randy. It's good to be here.
All right. Thank you. And we'll see you later.